So I'm Mike Gibson, or Michael Gibson, with Overflow Pools LLC, located in Las Vegas, Nevada. Saint City, not Sin City as I like to call it. I'm over here in the Henderson area getting ready to install a new pump for a home warranty. And I'm going to show you guys how to install one. So as you can see here, we have a Hayward system set up. We got a 520 cartridge blower, got a 1.5 Hayward single speed pump. Then we also got a Hayward heater over here on the side. Pretty much your average setup. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these two pipes. That way I can have enough length to be able to put the other one in. Right. And I'm going to cut this one right here. As a matter of fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to get rid of this water spigot. Push this up so I can have some room. Might come back down and see if I can tighten it a little bit. Probably not. If it falls down, that's fine. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and... Ooh, that's hot. Shit. So the motor is really, really hot, as you can see, which is the reason why I'm getting ready to replace this pump, because this motor is starting to die out. It's overworking itself. It's been here for quite some time. So right now I'm going to get ready to disconnect the ground cable, as you can see. Take that ground cable off. Take that out. That ground cable is disconnected. We're going to need this for the new pump because you always want to have a ground. I'm going to move this over here. Oh, I see that we have some bolts. Pull those babies right up. All right. Next, I'm going to start with my electrical. Disconnecting the electrical. All right. So that part is not hot. Got anything else we need to take out? Got that one right there. Pop that bad boy right off. All right, and now we have our electrical. So as you can see, we have a ground wire. We have a line 1 and we have a line 2. Now this is a 230 volt pool pump. So both of these lines are going to be hot. So when you get ready to install the new pump, it doesn't matter where these two go because they're both hots. No neutrals. Just go ahead and open that. Go ahead and just take these screws off because we're not going to be using this pump anymore. We're going to be ditching this one. So, I'm going to take this off. All right. There goes one. There goes two. And then we're going to get rid of the ground. Take the ground off. All right. So everything is disconnected. Now what we got to do is we got to take this. We're going to just yank this right out. Like so. And what we're going to do, we're going to set this pump over here to the side. Ooh, not as young as I used to be. All right. So here we have a new pump. As you can see right here, this is a new pump, single speed, same horsepower as the last one, 230 volts as well. Now, this pump is called a Tong Chant swimming pool pump. You could actually get this pump from maybe eBay, Amazon, wherever you want. This is just, you know, so you can save money. I know people won't always have, you know, the funds to get something like a Jandy, a Hayward, or like a Pentair. You know, those are kind of like the Porsche, you know, of pool pumps. But this will do just fine. And then the good thing about it is you can get up to a 3-year warranty. That's also a good thing. All right. So I'm gonna just line this up real quick just to make sure that everything is lined up with the pipes. We may have to do a little bit more configuration, but as you can see, that lines up perfect. All right, so we're good to go on that. We're gonna come down here. So this is a little bit far back. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to put a coupler on here to extend it back. And then what we'll do is we'll line this right up. We should be good to go. Now, what I always like to do first is before I get ready to do my piping, I always like to do my electrical, my wiring, because sometimes the cord could be very short, sometimes it could be very long, but you always want to make sure that you have enough length to do what you're doing. So I'm going to start with the electrical. That's all I do. Also, make sure the power is off. I have the breaker, main breaker off at the pull box. Now, I'm a professional, so I don't have anything to worry about, but just in case you want to be super careful and super cautious, you can always turn the pull breaker off at the main box as well. But make sure all of the electrical is off. All right, open this up. These also come with unions. They come with 1.5 unions. They also come with 2-inch unions. On this one, I'll be using 2-inch because this is a 2-inch piping. I rarely don't like to use 1.5 because you don't get enough water flow. I always like to do 2 inches. But if you have like a smaller pool, 1.5 is okay. All right. So this one actually comes with the cord. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo this cord and I'm gonna replace it with this cord here. All right, set those over here so I don't forget them. Also, just so that you know, let me show you guys this real quick. So this pool pump in particular is a 230 volt, but it has a transformer on it to where that you can connect it to a 115 as well. So if you look here, this is the switch. So there's 230, there's 115. I have it to 230 because that's what this is running off of, 230. So we already have it set to 230. Just pop that baby off like so. These connections are gonna stay on here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna undo this cord. All you gotta do is just twist it off. And then there is a ground, and then there is a ground, and then there is a hot and a hot. So all you do is just disconnect those, and I'll probably save this actually, because I could probably use this for like a portable vac or something. That way I don't have to go and make my own, because this one was well built. So you just want to wiggle these bad boys. You want to take them out. All right. And then all I have left is my ground. So I'm going to disconnect my ground, and I will be able to do the wiring for this pump. And this is very important, guys. I always like to tell people, whatever you undo, make sure you redo. So just, you know, make sure you take your time. I'm a little bit more seasoned, so I can go kind of fast, but just take your time. It's not hard. It's not difficult. So all I'm gonna do is yank that out. You see how easy that comes out? Put that over there to the side. Right. I'm going to have to get something to pull this out, or maybe I can do it. I don't know, kind of hard to pull out. Yep, there we go. So that's out, throw that to the side. All right, so now I have my hot open, and then I am going to connect this. You actually do have to have 16 to 14 AWG wires for this because of the way that it connects. So I am going to get that, and I will be back shortly. I am back. Let's see what we got going on. All right, guys, I'm back. So now I have my 16 through 14 AWG connectors. All right, so now all we do is just replace what we had. Make sure that it goes in there, so need a little bit more length. So I'm gonna take this off. Right. And what I like to do is I kind of like to just strip these and just kind of make them new again, just so we can have a good connection. So cut that one, cut this one, then I'm going to cut this one. Go ahead and restrip them. Alright, so you see how that's clean and flush? You want to make sure you have a good connection with all of the wires, because if you don't, you'll cause a short. You don't want that, then you'll have to buy another pump. A little bit more. Alright. And lastly, our bond wire. We are good to go. Almost. All right, clean and flush. So now we are going to connect our 16 through 14 AWG wires, and I'm just going to use this just to clamp it down, make sure it doesn't loosen up. So that goes through like that, and then you just tighten it. Make sure that the ground wire, so ground wire actually doesn't need it, so we're going to leave the ground wire be, because all you have to do is just connect it to the screw. Just make a little loop. We're going to connect this one to one of the hots. All right. Make sure that's on there. All right. And I am back. That comes off fairly easy. All right. Get my connectors again. And my pliers are actually a little bit stronger, so I'm gonna get my pliers. Having a little bit of a difficulty with this one. Stand up and do it. Want to make sure that that doesn't go anywhere. All right, now that is tight. That's not going anywhere. All right, got my other one. All right, that's not going anywhere. That one is not going anywhere. Alrighty, so the next step is to connect the hot and the hot exactly where I took the actual cord off. So this is gonna go there. All right, that's on. One down to go. Come on. Sometimes you have to wiggle your way down, but eventually you will get there. So these two are now connected. And so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to just test everything to make sure it's working before I get ready to do anything else, because I don't want to do everything else and then the electrical's not working and then I have to undo everything and start over. So let's just check everything, see if it comes on. All right, you heard it for yourself, guys. We are successful. Okay, so now all I'm gonna do now is just connect my ground wire. This one is stripped. This one is stripped. Find another screw. Let's try this one. Alright, and we are good to go. So we got our two hots, we got our ground, and everything is now successfully hooked up correctly. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and close this box. Alright, go ahead and put our screws back on. All right, so that's that. I'm gonna check the electrical one more time. Check the pump spring one more time, just so we're sure. That's not a good sign. That's not good. This is how we want. All right, good to go. All right, now for the unions. So, as you can see, whew, we have two unions, right? We have a 1.5 and we have a 2. So this is how we do this one. So this one here goes into this, like that. This one goes on the top, and it now becomes a 2-inch. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to start by just connecting these. Make sure that you have your gasket, because if you do not, it will have a leak. You want to pop that right in there. Right? Pop that right in there. So we're going to put these two. We're going to put one of these on the front, one of these on the top. All right? Okay. Good to go. We're going to get our other one. Put that on top as well. Like so. Okay. So now what we're going to have to do is, because these two don't necessarily line up, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to back this up a little bit. But I don't want to go too far, because as you can see, I'm not dealing with a whole bunch of electrical for my pump. And as a matter of fact, I may just have to replumb it, because as you can see, it's kind of off. It's kind of off. So I may just have to get rid of this and just do another one from here and just cut this off. We don't really need all of this. It's just extra stuff. I don't even know why it's here. Cut it off from here and just replumb at the top. So I'm gonna do the bottom first. Gotta get my glue. Alrighty. So as you can see, I have some PVC pipe here. Got a couple of couplers. Got a couple of 90s. Got some good primer. Glue. Marker for accuracy. Measuring tape for accuracy. And lastly but not least, a pipe cutter. Alright, so let's get this party started. Move this to the side. Gotta angle that up. Alright. Make sure we clean this bad boy up really good with some primer. That way we can have a clean surface to work with. Alright. Got my coupler, sorry. Coupler. Got my glue. I like using white because it's not as messy. I love red hot because it does a really, really good job, but it's really messy. So plus this takes a little bit longer to settle, so you can kind of move, you know, if you got to move some stuff. All right, pop that bad boy on there like that. Give it a good turn. Hold. Let it go. All right, and so for these two, I'm gonna go ahead and do the unions that they came with here and here, so that we can connect our 2-inch plumbing in between. Goes on there just like that. Turn, hold this for a little bit longer. Let it go. Same thing for the top. Turn, hold. Let it go. All right, now as you can see, this one is a little bit too far, right? Mistake, we all make them. So what I'm gonna do, and I'll show you. We're gonna cut this one. Right where the coupler is. Alright. Clean that up real good. Alright. Now we have space. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm actually going to push this bad boy right into here because we got some good space between that. And I may not necessarily have to cut this one, but we'll see. Put some primer on there so we can have a clean surface. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go glue this one, and I'm also going to glue this one. All right. that bad boy right in here. Just like this. Whoop! Perfect fit. All right, so that's gonna do its thing. Now we're gonna work on the top. I mean, as you can see, it almost looks like it'll work. Almost. Close, but not quite. So, what we're gonna have to do for this one is we are going to have to cut about right here and then plumb back this way. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. Let's see if I can suffice with this little part, this little bitty piece that I have right here. I should be okay. And I am. All right. Go ahead and prime it. Then I am going to connect my coupler to this. And that will pop on there just like this. Turn, hold. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of glue around the edge. Just to make sure everything is secure. All right, we're good to go on that. All right, so my next step is to do my piping here to make sure it lines up with this. So what I usually like to do is I like to stick a whole, a whole stick of pipe right in here. And then from there, I can figure out where I want this to be, right? Now I'm gonna have to put a 90 there. It's gonna have to go in that way. And then we're gonna have to do some extra piping, but we're just gonna go ahead and put this in here for now because it just makes everything a lot easier. Right. We're going to put something at the top. Okay. We'll pop that bad boy right on here. Pop it in. Make sure it's as far as you can go. Turn. Hold. Let it go. All right. So I know that pretty much I have to figure out how much of this I want to keep, right? So what I always like to do is I always like to do like an undercut. So this would be lined up right with this, the bottom of this one. And so I just get my Sawzall. I kind of just go under straight like this, kind of keep it there, and then it just leads me pretty much right there, right? And so once I get it, I just cut. All right, there we go. Pull the surface off really good. I'm pretty much good to go with my lining, right? So the next thing that I want to do, after you get this really clean, good to go, I'm just going to go ahead and just prime this really quick, just so I don't have to think about doing it again. I'm going to prime this side. I'm going to prime this side. All right, now we're working with clean surface. Then what you do is what I showed you guys last time, this 90. We're gonna pop that 90 right there, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and get my glue. I'm gonna glue this, and I'm gonna glue my 90. Just like so. And you want to line it up as best as you can. And we got a perfect lineup, right? Hold it there. Then you can let it go. Now the good thing is if you get it right here and you can't move it, we have unions at the bottom to where you can just unscrew the unions and turn it however you want. So that's the good thing about having unions. It saves you from making a lot of mistakes, right? So now what we have to do is you just have to measure how much pipe we need to go in between this and this, right? So that's where this comes in. Now, I know that inside every coupler 90, 45, you got at least about a ½ inch, right? So I'm gonna start about right here. That's about a ½ inch. And then actually where this line is, there's a line right here, is actually where it stops. So from here to here, I am going to need about 5 inches of pipe between these two, right? So I'm gonna get my measuring tape. Sometimes people can eyeball it. I can too, but I'm just gonna show you guys what you can do. So you're gonna grab your marker, gonna grab your measuring tape, and all you do from here, go to where the 5 is. See that right there? 5. And then what you do is you just let it hang, get your marker, and you just put it right there. Boom. So that will let you know how much pipe you need to cut. And so for this instance, this is also where your pipe cutters come in. That way you don't have to use your Sawzall. So I have this pipe cutter. You can get one of these. It's called a Liberton pipe cutter, a Liberton. And you can get this from Amazon, Home Depot, anywhere. Or you can also get it from a pool store too. And it'll literally just cut like the perfect cut for you, as you can see. That way I won't be using any extra pipe and still got more pipe left, right? All right, so I know what you're thinking. How am I gonna get this on here? Well, I'm glad you asked. And as you can see, that's a perfect fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna untwist this union, right? And just because I don't wanna pick it up right now, and I just wanna, you know, just put this in here first, I'm gonna just keep it there, but I have it turned sideways so it doesn't hit with this. I'm gonna go ahead and get my glue. Razzle dazzle this on up. And then I'm gonna razzle dazzle this up. Push in, turn, hold. Let go. And the funny thing about it is, guys, is when you actually loosen it, you got a lot of wiggle room to work with, as you can see. So it's a lot further from where it was. But when I push it in, it's gonna be aligned exactly where I need to be. So what I can do now, instead of me even taking it off, go ahead, glue this one, glue that one. Boom, boom, boom. And guess what? Perfect setup. And all I'm doing is just screwing this back on here. And that is a perfect way to plumb a pool. If anybody else tell you a different way, they lying. All right, everything is good. Everything is flush. I will have to come back on my channel locks and tighten these just because I like the extra tightness. Some people say you don't have to do it. I always do it just in case. But right now, everything is good. Everything is set up. Lastly, the bond wires, right? The ground wire. So I have this ground wire here. However, as you can see, this ground wire really doesn't go all the way here, right? So this is where the bond is at. But this is also a bond wire as well. So what I am going to do is I am actually going to strip this just a little bit. And I am going to use some tape to tape this together. Electrical tape. Want to make sure that I get a good connection on these two. Wish I could stretch it out a little bit more, but unfortunately that's as far as it's going, guys. Sometimes you come across these problems, and it's okay. So I'm just going to strip that wire, like so. And as you can see, we have this here. Actually, I'm going to strip it a little bit more. Like that. We're just going to come around this like this. Give it a good twirl. All right, now you have a good bond, and I'm gonna come back with some tape to tape that up. But for now, what I'm gonna do is, because everything is hooked up, everything is right, I am going to go ahead and clean up, and then I'll be back. And this also gives everything time to dry too, so. By the time I get back, we should be able to fire it up, make sure there's no leaks. Make sure everything is running how it's supposed to run. But for the most part, that's how you do an install. This to just tape the bond wires. It's nothing harmful. All they are is just ground wires. The ground wire that you have wasn't long enough, so I just used that one at the top, and I'm just gonna connect them. It doesn't hurt anything. It just, if there's like an outage or a weather storm,
I'll find it 5 minutes after you leave, so I could probably. What are you gonna tape right here?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I can come behind it
Yeah,
and
if you
do
just want
it.
to come behind it with some duct tape, that'll work.
I'll do that. I just don't know what happened to it. My handyman was here. He might have grabbed it.
Well, you know what? It's funny because sometimes we have 10 million things.
Yeah.
And they be all in different places.
I just saw it too, just not too long ago, and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, so this will be fine. This won't hurt it at all. I'm just gonna wrap this up really, really tight, and just make sure that they don't, you know, separate. But you'll be good to go for sure, for sure. And then if you just want to come back around it, come back behind it with some electrical or some duct tape.
Yeah, I will.
That'll be perfectly fine. But other than that, everything is good to go. Everything has been installed properly. And you're good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go ahead and tighten these unions. Everything should be dry by now.
All right.
Make sure this one is tight. I know sometimes when you take this way up, Okay. Put our cap on. Alrighty, Mr. Robert, if you could do me the favor of turning on the electrical.
Got it.
I see some water. Alrighty, Mr. Robert. We are good to go, sir. Well, what I like to do is I like to just turn the water off. Just because we need everything to dry. But as far as everything goes, this is what you consider a successful install. Micro Overflow Pools. Holla at your boy.